Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the road trip, everybody. Welcome back, friends and mishpachah, right? Friends and family. Kingdom builders, road trippers, Akeem and Akatim, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, everybody in the house, in-laws. That's right. That's right. That's correct. Shalom. Shalom. Peace and blessings to each and every single one of you. Your homes, your dwelling places, your homes, where you stay at. That's right. That is right. That's correct. Your loved ones, your friends, your children, and your pets, those fur babies. Yeah, that's right. All praises to the Most High. Who? Yahweh. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Right? All praises to Yahweh. Glory to Yahweh Shai. Honors to the Ruach HaKodesh. And my love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of you. You better believe that. It's true. It is true. So what are we doing? Where are we? We're in the book of Jasher. Safar HaYashar. And we finish up on the last read, chapter 67. Thus, we will start on 68. And we're definitely going to get 68 and 69. That's guaranteed. 70, yeah. 70 is a guarantee. So we're going to guarantee 68, 69, and 70. And 71 is a maybe. All right? So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But normally when I say maybe, we normally get it. So we'll just see. All right? If you want to follow along with me right now, is a great opportunity. Get your scrolls out. You know, put them on your lap. Have them nearby you. Whether it's hard copy or you're scrolling on the blue screen, it doesn't matter, you know. All right. How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a great Shabbat. Hope you had a nice evening last night. Peaceful, relaxing, you know, comforting, low stress. All right. And you ate something really nice, a nice meal, some good food, right? Good company. Hallelujah. All praises to the Most High. All right, no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, the book of Jasher, chapter 68. Let's begin.
Take them back.
Chapter 68, and it reads, And it was at that time the Ruach of Yahweh was upon Miriam, the daughter of Amram, the sister of Aharon. And she went out and prophesied about the house, saying, Behold, a son will be born unto us from my father and mother this time, and he will save Yasharel from the hands of Mizraim. And when Amram heard the words of his daughter, he went and took his wife back to the house, after he had driven her away, at the time when Pharaoh ordered every male child of the house of Yaakov to be thrown into the water. So Amram took Jochebed, his wife, 3 years after he had driven her away, and he came to her, and she conceived. And at the end of 7 months from her conception she brought out a son. And the whole house was filled with great light, as of the light of the sun, and the moon at the time of their shining. And when the woman saw the child, that it was good and pleasing to the sight, she hid it for 3 months in an inner room. In those days the Egyptians conspired to destroy all the Hebrews there. And the Egyptian women went to Goshen, where the children of Yasharel were, and they carried their young ones upon their shoulders, their babies, who could not yet speak. And in those days, when the women of the children of Yasharel brought out, each woman had hidden her son from before the Egyptians, that the Egyptians might not know of the bringing out, and they might not destroy them from the land. And the Egyptian women came to Goshen, and their children who could not speak were upon their shoulders. And when the Egyptian women came into the house of a Hebrew woman, her babe began to cry. And when it cried, the child that was in the inner room answered it. So the Egyptian woman went and told it to the house of Pharaoh. And Pharaoh sent his officers to take the children and slay them. Thus did the Egyptian to the Hebrew women all the days. And it was at that time, about 3 months from Jochebed's concealment of her son, that the thing was known to Pharaoh's house. And the women hastened to take away her son before the officers came. And she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister Miriam stood afar off to know what would be done to him, and what would become of her words. And Yahweh sent out at that time a terrible heat in the land of Mizraim, which burned up the flesh of man like the sun in its circuit. And it greatly oppressed the Egyptians. And all the Egyptians went down to bathe in the river on account of the consuming heat which burnt up their flesh. And Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, went also to bathe in the river, owing to the consuming heat, and her maidens walked at the riverside, and all the women of Mizraim as well. And Bathia lifted up her eyes to the river, and she saw an ark upon the water, and she sent her maid to fetch it. And she opened it, and saw a child, and behold, the babe wept, and she had compassion on him. And she said, This is one of the Hebrew children. And all the women of Mizraim walking on the riverside desired to give him suck, but he would not suck, for this thing was from the Most High, in order to restore him to his mother's breast. And Miriam, his sister, was at that time among the Egyptian women at the riverside. And she saw this thing, and she said to Pharaoh's daughter, Will I go and fetch a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the young woman went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said to Jochebed, Take this child away and suckle it for me, and I will pay you your wages, 2 bits of silver daily. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And at the end of 2 years, when the child grew up, she brought him to the daughter of Pharaoh, and he was under her as a son. And she called his name Moshe, for she said, Because I drew him out of the water. And Amram, his father, called his name Chabar, for he said, It was for him that he associated with his wife, whom he had turned away. And Jochebed his mother called his name Jekuthiel, because she said, I have hoped for him to the Almighty, the El Shaddai, and Yahweh restored him unto me. And Miriam his sister called him Jared, for she descended after him to the river, to know what his end would be. And Aharon his brother called his name Abai Zanuk, saying, My father left my mother and returned to her on his account. And Cahas, the father of Amram, called his name Abigdor, because on account did Yahweh repair the breach of his house of Yaakov, that they could no longer throw the male children into the water. And their nurse called him Abai Sokol, saying, In his tabernacle was he hidden for 3 months, on account of the children of Ham. And all Yasharel called his name Shemaiah, son of Nathaniel, for they said, In his days has Yahweh heard their cries, and rescued them from their oppressors. And Moshe was in Pharaoh's house, and was unto Bathiah, Pharaoh's daughter, as a son. And Moshe grew up among the king's children. That's the end of chapter 68. We're going to continue on to 69, all right? So, just stretching a little bit, all right? Let's continue. All right, chapter 69, and it reads, And the king of Edom died in those days, in the 18th year of his reign, and was buried in his temple, which he had built for himself as a royal residence in the land of Edom. And the children of Esau sent to Pethor, which is upon the river, and they fetched from there a young man of beautiful eyes and comely aspect, whose name was Saul, and they made him king over them in the place of Samlah. And Saul reigned over all the children of Esau in the land of Edom for 40 years. And when Pharaoh, king of Egypt, Mizraim, saw that the counsel was Balaam had advised respecting the children of Yasharel did not succeed, but that still they were fruitful, multiplied, and increased throughout the land of Mizraim. Then Pharaoh commanded in those days that the proclamation should be issued throughout Mizraim to the children of Yasharel, saying, No man will diminish anything of his daily labor, and the man who will be found deficient in his labor, which he performs daily, whether in mortar or in bricks, then his youngest son will be put in their place. And the labor of Mizraim strengthened upon the children of Yasharel in those days. And behold, if one brick was deficient in any man's daily labor, the Egyptians took his youngest boy by force from his mother, and put him into the building in the place of the brick, which in his father had left wanting. And the men of Mizraim did so to all the children of Mizraim, of Yasharel, day by day, Salake, all the days for a long period. But the tribe of Levi did not at that time work with the Israelites, right, with the Yahudim, their brethren, from the beginning, for the children of Levi knew the cunning of the Egyptians, which they exercised at first towards the Israelites, right, the Yahudim. That's the end of chapter 69, by the way. That's 69. All right, so we're going to continue on, and we're going to go right into chapter 70. All right, cool. Yep. All right, let's start on chapter 70. Let's begin. Chapter 70, and it reads, And in the 3rd year from the birth of Moshe, Pharaoh was sitting at a banquet when Alparaneth, the queen, was sitting at his right, and Bathiah at his left. And the lad Moshe was lying upon her bosom, and Balaam the son of Beor with his 2 sons, and all the princes of the kingdom were sitting at the table in the king's presence. And the lad stretched out his hand upon the king's head, and took the crown from the king's head, and placed it upon his own head. And when the king and princes saw the work which the boy had done, the king and princes were terrified, and one man to his neighbor expressed astonishment. And the king said unto the princes who were before him at the table, What speak you? And what say you, O you princes, in this matter? And what is to be done the judgment against the boy on account of this act? And Balaam the son of Beor the magician answered before the king and princes, and he said, Remember now, O my Adon and king, the dream which you did dream many days since, and that which your servant interpreted unto you. Now therefore, this is a child from the Hebrew children, in whom is the Ruach of Yahweh. And let not my Adon the king imagine that this youngster did this thing without knowledge. For he is a Hebrew boy, and wisdom and understanding are with him, although he is yet a child. And with wisdom has he done this, and chosen unto himself the kingdom of Mizraim. For this is the manner of all the Hebrews to deceive kings and their nobles, to do all these things cunningly, in order to make the kings of the earth and their men tremble. Surely you know that Abraham their fathers acted thus, who deceived the army of Nimrod king of Babel, and Abimelech king of Gerar, and that he possessed himself of the land of the children of Heth, and all the kingdoms of Canaan, and that he descended into Mizraim, and said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister, in order to mislead Mizraim and her king. His son Isaac also did so when he went to Gerar and dwelt there, and his strength prevailed over the army of Abimelech king of the Philistines. He also thought of making the kingdom of the Philistines stumble, in saying that Rebekah his wife was his sister. Yaakov also dealt treacherously with his brother, and took from his hand his birthright and his blessing. He went then to Padam Aram, to the house of Laban his mother's brother, and cunningly obtained from him his daughter, his cattle, and all belonging to him, and fled away and returned to the land of Canaan to his father. His sons sold their brother Joseph, who went down into Mizraim and became a slave, and was placed in the prison house for 12 years, until the former Pharaoh dreamed dreams, and withdrew him from the prison house, and magnified him above all the princes of Mizraim, on account of his interpreting of dreams to him. And when Yahweh caused a famine throughout the land, he sent for and brought his father and all his brothers and the whole of his father's household, and supported them without price or reward, and bought the Egyptians for slaves. Now therefore, my Adon king, behold, this child has risen up in their stead in Mizraim, to do according to their deeds, and to trifle with every king, prince, and judge. If it pleases the king, let us now spill his blood upon the ground, lest he grow up and take away the government from your hand, and the hope of Mizraim perish after he will have reigned. See, now, the Hebrews got they got a crazy reputation. You see what I'm saying? And if you think about it, there has been a lot of treachery, but hey, it's all the will, right? Let's continue. Verse 20, and it reads, And Balaam said to the king, Let us moreover call for all the judges of Mizraim, and the wise men thereof, and let us know if the judgment of death is due to this boy, as you did say, and then we will slay him. And Pharaoh sent and called for all the wise men of Mizraim, and they came before the king, and an angel of the Most High came among them, and he was like one of the wise men of Mizraim. And the king said to the wise men, Surely you have heard what this Hebrew boy who is in the house has done, and thus has Balaam judged in this matter. Now judge you also, and see what is due to the boy for the act he has committed. And the angel, who seemed like one of the wise men to Pharaoh, answered and said as follows, before all the wise men of Mizraim, and before the king and the princes, If it pleases the king, let the king send for men who will bring before him an onyx stone and a coal of fire, and place them before the child. And if the child will stretch out his hand and take the onyx stone, then will we know that with wisdom has the youth done all that he has done, and we must slay him. But if he stretches out his hand upon the coal, then we will know that it was not with knowledge, that he did this thing, and we will live. And this thing seemed good in the eyes of the king and the princes, so the king did according to the word of the angel of the Most High. And the king ordered an onyx stone and a coal to be brought and placed before Moshe. And they placed the boy before them, and the lad endeavored to stretch out his hand to the onyx stone. But the angel of the Most High took his hand and placed it upon the coal, and the coal became extinguished in his hand. And he lifted it up and put it into his mouth, and burned upon burned part of his lip and part of his tongue, and he became heavy in mouth and tongue. And that's how he became like stuttered and all that kind of stuff. That's how he couldn't talk right, all right? Okay, they don't talk about that in the Old Testament, see? Because that's why he had his brother Aharon speak for him, because he said he was lame of tongue. Well, he put a burning coal in his mouth and burnt his tongue. So he said he burned his lips and part of his tongue, and he became heavy in mouth and tongue. And when the king and princes saw this, they knew that Moshe had not acted with wisdom in taking off the crown from the king's head. So the king and princes refrained from slaying the child. So Moshe remained in Pharaoh's house, growing up, and the Most High was with him. And while the boy was in the king's house, he was robed in purple, and he grew among the children of the king. And when Moshe grew up in the king's house, Bathia, the daughter of Pharaoh, considered him as a son, and all the household of Pharaoh honored him, and all the men of Mizraim were afraid of him. And he daily went out and came into the land of Goshen, where his brethren and children of Yasharel were. And Moshe saw them daily in shortness of breath and hard labor. And Moshe asked them, saying, Why is this labor meted out unto you day by day? And they told him all that had befallen them, and all the injunctions which Pharaoh had put upon them before his birth. And they told him all the counsels which Balaam the son of Beor had counseled against them, and what he had also counseled against him in order to slay him, when he had taken the king's crown from off his head. And when Moshe heard these things, his anger was kindled against Balaam, and he sought to kill him, and he was in ambush for him day by day. And Balaam was afraid of Moshe, and he and his 2 sons rose up and went out from Egypt, right from Mizraim, and they fled and delivered their souls and went themselves to the land of Cush, to Kikianas, king of Cush. And Moshe was in the king's house, going out and coming in. The Most High gave him favor in the eyes of Pharaoh, and in the eyes of all the servants, and in the eyes of all the people of Mizraim, and they loved Moshe exceedingly. And the day arrived when Moshe went to Goshen to see his brethren, that he saw the children of Yasharel in their burdens and hard labor, and Moshe was grieved on their account. And Moshe returned to Mizraim, and came to the house of Pharaoh, and came before the king And Moshe bowed down before the king. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, I pray you, my Adon, I have come to seek a small request from you. Turn not away my face empty. And Pharaoh said unto him, Speak. And Moshe said unto Pharaoh, Let there be given unto your servant the children of Yasharel who are in Goshen 1 day to rest therein from their labor. And the king answered Moshe and said, Behold, I have lifted up your face in this thing to grant your request. And Pharaoh ordered a proclamation to be issued throughout Mizraim and Goshen, saying, To you, all the children of Yasharel, thus says the king, For 6 days you will do your work and labor, but on the 7th day you will rest, and will not perform any work. Thus will you do all the days, as the king and Moshe the son of Bathia have commanded. And Moshe rejoiced at this thing, which the king had granted to him. And all the children of Yasharel did as Moshe ordered them. For this thing was from the Most High to the children of Yasharel, for the Most High had begun to remember the children of Yasharel to save them for the sake of their fathers. And the Most High Yahweh was with Moshe, and his fame went throughout Mizraim. And Moshe became great in the eyes of all the Egyptians, and in the eyes of the children of Yasharel, seeking good for his people Yasharel, and speaking words of peace regarding them to the king. That's the end of chapter 70. All right? Cool. So I think, what are we going to do? We're going to get 71 also? Yeah, let's go ahead and read 71 as well. Keep your scrolls out. Let's continue. Let's get some more. All right, hallelujah. Chapter 71, let's continue, and it reads, When Moshe was 18 years old, he desired to see his father and mother, and he went to them in Goshen. And when Moshe had come near to Goshen, he came to the place where the children of Yasharel were engaged in work, and he observed their burdens. And he saw an Egyptian smiting one of his Hebrew brethren. And when the man who was beaten saw Moshe, he ran to him for help. For the man Moshe was greatly respected in the house of Pharaoh, and he said to him, My Adon, attend to me. This Egyptian came to my house in the night, bound me, and came to my wife in my presence, and now he seeks to take my life away. And when Moshe heard this wicked thing, his anger was kindled against the Egyptian, and he turned this way and the other. And when he saw there was no man there, he smote the Egyptian and hid him in the sand, and delivered the Hebrew from the hand of him that smote him. And the Hebrew went to his house, and Moshe returned to his home, and went out, and came back to the king's house. And when the man had returned home, he thought of repudiating Salake. He thought of repudiating his wife, for it was not right in the house of Yaakov for any man to come to his wife after she had been defiled. And the woman went and told her brothers, and the woman's brothers sought to slay him. And he fled to his house and escaped. And on the second day, Moshe went he went out to his brethren and saw, and behold, two men were quarreling. And he said to the wicked one, Why do you smite your neighbor? And he answered him and said to him, Who has set you for a prince and a judge over us? Do you think to slay me as you did slay the Egyptian? And Moshe was afraid, and he said, Surely this thing is known? And Pharaoh heard of this affair, and he ordered Moshe to be slain. So Yahweh sent his angel, and he appeared unto Pharaoh in the likeness of a captain of the guard. And the angel of the Most High took the sword from the hand of the captain of the guard, and took his head off with it. For the likeness of the captain of the guard was turned into the likeness of Moshe. And the angel of the Most High took hold of the right hand of Moshe, and brought him out of Mizraim, and placed him from without the borders of Mizraim, a distance of 40 days' journey. And Aharon his brother alone remained in the land of Mizraim, and he prophesied to the children of Jasher, saying, Thus saith the Most High Elohia of your ancestors, Throw away each man the abominations of his eyes, and do not defile yourselves with the idols of Mizraim. And the children of Jasher rebelled, and would not hearken to Aharon at that time. And the Most High thought to destroy them, were it not that the Most High remembered the covenant which he had made with Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. In those days the hand of Pharaoh continued to be severe against the children of Yasharel, and he crushed and oppressed them until the time when Yahweh sent out his word and took notice of them. And that's the end of chapter 71. And we're going to finish that up there, all right? And we're going to start back on 72 on the next one, okay? We got plenty of time. We can get a few more of these in this evening before it gets too late. You know how it goes. But thanks for riding along with me on the road trip, Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers, Akeem and Akatim, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, and uncles, grandmas, and grandpas, everybody in the house. Tawada, Khan, man. Khan Tawada, thanks for riding along with me. It's good to have you every single time. Every single time. You know it, every single time. But in the meantime, in between time, shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to all of you, your homes, your dwelling places, loved ones, friends, pets, right? Children and kids. All that good stuff, man. All that good stuff that you need in your life. That's right, Mishpachah. Enjoy, relax, eat well, and be safe, and stay zealous for the Most High. All praises to the Most High. I'll see y'all soon. I love you. Yeah.
Thank you.